Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome back to Europa Universalis 5 as we're playing as the Kingdom of England. So we're in what I'm going to call the second phase of the 100 Years' War. Got some sieges going. Should hopefully be able to get those completed soon. I mean, we just started both of them. This one here would give us our second fort controlled in the region. They're going to take back over these province capitals, so that's fine. We'll deal with that later. Well, this one will be our first big success here. And we did lose this, unfortunately. So that's going to result in them getting that defender ticking again. And it seems that our admiral has died, so we need to get somebody else appointed here. He served us for a long time. He was quite skilled. We can get the Ironside captain, Captain Wilfred. He's pretty solid. I don't really like his Diplo skill rating. So could put Captain John there instead, but he doesn't have good admin. As far as just like straight damage, I think Wilfred would be the best option. We'll put him in charge. At least during the war. You can always change him up to somebody else when we're at peace. Like a peacetime admiral and a wartime admiral. So yeah, they're pretty much able to do whatever they want right now. Man, they got a lot of armies over here. Now we have 7,000 attached to ours, so we're at 15,000 right now. Now they currently have 3 sieges going. So like I was saying last episode, the war has pretty much just become one of many sieges. We do have some trade that's run out of supply here, so we need to get that sorted out. Again, it doesn't really matter what I select here. Outside of the wine, that never seems to be an issue. The Black Death situation has finally ended. Seems that the last remnants of the plague have finally disappeared. Are those of us that survived the cursed or the blessed? Did anyone survive? So obviously that left our country quite some time ago. Yeah, the situation's now over. So this siege is almost completed. That was not quite enough. Defenders deserted. But that's the one that's progressed the furthest. However, they're also about to liberate this, which is very unfortunate because I don't want to leave this siege here. And it's not even that large of an army, so it's kind of a real shame. We've already been sitting here for months though, so I just don't want to abandon it. Our daughter, Lady Mary, has come of age, so we go into arrange a marriage for her. And there's a couple heirs to the throne in Bohemia, Sweden, Sicily. So I guess we'll do the Bohemian heir, Crown Prince Jan. So do that marriage, get ourselves a little bit of prestige. So yeah, what we'll have to do is as soon as this finishes up, is try and run back down here and assault the location. Yeah, they already finished it. Because they only have the 10 dudes. And so if you assaulted it when it didn't have many, but they're just gonna build those numbers back up. So we'll have to see. They finished it really quickly, unfortunately. So finally, this siege has completed 336 days. So it took a long time. We're going to need to replace the defenders there, the garrison. So put the full 100 there. And I suppose we could attack this army here. It's 11,000 men. And they wouldn't get any defensive bonuses there. Well, let me take that back. There's a river right here, so they'll have the river bonus. But yeah, we're going to go and attack those. Try and get them wiped out. Although they haven't been participating in the conflict thus far. So yeah, we'll get this siege here done soon, and then, I don't know. I mean, you're going to have to do like a full siege there. Very unfortunate that it went down that way. So we did finish up that battle, excellent. I guess we'll go ahead and take control of this location next, and then just move through here and take over any unfortified, provinces. So this one here would be next. We got to retake the Wurgel as well. Now there is an army over here in our homeland that has been just causing all kinds of problems, and our vassals have just utterly failed at taking care of them. So they've taken over multiple provinces, just moved through here. They defeated in one battle, but then they retreated, and now you can see they're still taking territory over. So we're gonna grab that one next. But yeah, that's a bunch of territory that's being seized into our control, and I don't think we'll need to help with that battle. I think that's good to go. This one here, still waiting. What does the garrison look like? It's 144, so we definitely don't want to assault there. We'll just have to wait until it's done. We do still have a cabinet member we need to appoint, and over here we're going to want to get whoever's the best military, which would be this Pierre guy. So get him appointed so that hopefully we can get this territory integrated a little bit faster. And you know what? I think we're going to move this character off of this. Yeah, let's stop doing that in order to try and complete this one mission. So we need to increase province control. This is also what our son Lionel is best at. It says administrative ability. So we're going to work on that. We're at 85.81%. We need to get up to 94% in order to complete the mission. Alright, so this siege here is finished, or occupation, whatever you want to call it. I guess we can go relieve Paris real quick, because they've been making progress over there. Need to relieve these two areas too. But we really need to go after that war goal. Yeah, I guess we'll go do this real quick just since we're in the area. So yeah, we got Paris relieved, and we finished this siege as well. I guess we can go over here. Now there's nobody else to fight, so we'll just have to do another siege. You know what, we need to go back in order to replace the defenders. Because otherwise they could just easily assault that and take it from us. So yeah, I think it's imperative that we place some defenders there. Alright, we'll go grab this location as well while we're down here. Cardinals got this pass, that's the increased institution growth. Let's go ahead and refill the garrison. And then I guess we should go back to our own territory in order to get some troops, so that once we take this fort, we would be able to restore the garrison, at least with 25 guys. Yeah, that's all we'll be able to do, because we're short on manpower. So we're going to engage these 5,000 men who are attempting to take that fortification. We've taken over the war goal again, so eventually that defender chicken will be removed. However, they just came over here and seized all this territory again. We did win that battle, killed 1,400 men. And I suppose we're going to start this siege again. I mean, we could go ahead and take this back over, this location. Doesn't really matter because they'll just seize it again, but it does keep them busy for a little while, I suppose. But you could say the same thing about us. It's keeping us busy. We've finally finished up with the integration, so now we need to work on a new province. Yeah, I guess we'll do this one here, because these ones, we don't have the entire province. We might have the entire one here, but we definitely don't have the entirety of West Flanders. So it's quicker, you know, when you don't have the whole thing, but it's just easier to do the entire thing at once. And surprisingly, even though we're 46 years old and our wife is 49, we had another son. He was already named Thomas, which is the correct name for Edward's last son. But yeah, I wasn't expecting to have any more children. So we got this battle finished up over here. We're going to go and engage those 5,100. Trying to take off. They're going to get the river bonus, but yeah, we'll attack them anyways. We've entered September. We have a bunch of things we could do. We completed this mission, control around the capital. And so with that, we get this modifier, efficient authority. So this is only going to be in our capital province, and it reduces the time to construct roads as well as to expand the raw materials. It's not really all that helpful, I suppose, but it did let us get these other two missions completed. Food investments. So this one here is for having a certain amount of food, and every owned location in the province or capital will gain food provisions. So that's going to increase the population growth by 0.10%, so that's pretty helpful. And then also all roads lead to London. So at least two locations that neighbor London have the latest possible roads. This is going to change our societal value by +10 towards centralization. So if we take a look at that mission tree and see where we're at, next is the push for centralization. In order to complete this, we have to be making 0.4 monthly progress towards centralization, which we're moving towards decentralization, so going the opposite way. So obviously we'd have to do a lot in order to complete that. You know what, it's kind of fine, because the benefit of finishing this mission task is gaining 6 ability points, you know, for each one of the 3 abilities. And I don't know if we'd want to do that with Edward, considering, you know, he's 46 years old. Might be better to do that with his son, the Lap Prince, who really isn't all that impressive. So giving him 6 more points in each of his skills, that would be useful. We can also do a parliament, so let's go ahead and do that now here in London. And these are our current options. Since we're currently integrating 2 provinces, I think we should do this one. Promote the integration process. This will speed it up, and Paris will get 20% integration once the debate passes. So during the debate, these ones will go a little bit faster. Now, I don't know if we'll do anything else here. You know what? I think we will. We're going to do this one to reduce opinion with some nobles. So we're going to do that. That gets us up to 94%. And then we're going to ask for another law change. And then we're going to get rid of the English Parliament. You really shouldn't be allowed to do this. But we're going to do it. This is going to be a huge increase in our crown power because we're currently getting a penalty of 33%. Now, agendas are not going to be impactful. Our taxes will be a little bit lower. Won't get that legitimacy bonus anymore. We'll also get this penalty to the estate satisfaction equilibrium, but yeah, the crown power is going to be significantly higher. So you're losing the 33% penalty and gaining 20%. So that's going to be significant, guys. Now, we do want to get this passed, and so we're going to have to give in to one of these agendas. And I think we're going to do this one here. Address the local assembly complaints to get rid of the local assemblies. Those aren't even beneficial to us. It does piss off the yeomanry. But we just take a look at their satisfaction. It's at 40%. Okay, so the clergy are the only ones who are really satisfied with us. The burghers don't hate us either. And then we're going to get some things constructed for the food here in the capital region. So there's a couple things that we can do there. So first of all, we'll get the irrigation in both of these locations. And I think London produces more food than both of those two, but we're going to build it in all 3 of those. And then we could also increase the RGOs here. So this is wheat. So you could build that up. And it looks like we're broke. Okay, so can't further expand those. But we also have that bonus for the RGOs where we can build them a bit faster because we did that one mission. So this one's still progressing slowly. Sadly, I had to bring the Royal Army to finally deal with these 1,000 dudes here. 5,000 men sitting over here, but they just couldn't get it done. But yeah, they're about to get something important sieged. So it was just better for us to take care of it. So finally, this siege has been completed again. We're going to throw what men we have, which isn't any, unfortunately. So we can't refill the garrison. So that leaves it with just the 10 men. So it's kind of a problem. I thought we had 25, but they must have died in a battle. So we have to make sure they're not able to siege that location. We'd have to retake the war goal. Since when we went to England, they took it from us. Bring our fleet back over here. We got a couple of events here. A town demands a seat in Parliament. This is the town of Cambridge. So we can grant it to them, and they'll get 1 urban Parliament seat. This increases the burghers' power, gives them a Parliament seat there. Will satisfy the burghers and give us 25% support here in the Parliament. Or we can refuse them, and that will greatly irritate them. Since we don't actually need the support right now, we're going to go ahead and refuse them. Just take that hit. And then also, we had a schism in the Catholic Church. So this is part of a situation. The Western Schism, also called the Great Divide. So basically this was over, it was a dispute between 2 different popes. There's 2 popes at the same time. There's the one in Avignon, who is widely considered to be under the control of the French kings, because he kind of was. And then the Pope in Rome. And so it's one that we won't really get involved in much. You can do some different actions, choose who you're going to support. Obviously, we're going to want to support Rome. We're not going to want to support the French Pope. So yeah, we will support the Papal States. So we're just taking all this territory back over. They once again took the war goal. So that's why the percentage is down there. So with this done, we'll go and attack in Paris. Destroy this 2,000 man siege here. We got another event here, the King's Speech. Yet another council meeting, yet another official document. It is clear that King Edward III is not able to properly handle himself at court. Due to his English upbringing, his mastery of French leaves much to be desired. His marked foreign accent is unbearable to native ears and a constant reminder that he is not truly someone that should be in charge of French court. Of course, this doesn't really make a lot of sense because Edward's mother was French And he spent a lot of time in France as well. Anyways, we have two options here. We can say we should adopt his southern language and English will become the new court language. Or we can say his lack of understanding might be beneficial, and we're going to go with that for the extra prestige. There is benefits to having French as our language because it's considered a stronger language. Makes our nobles happy. There's a few different reasons to have it, but having English would also have its benefits. So this gains us support in the parliament that we just passed, so kind of strange. But yeah, the integration in Paris was just increased there. I don't know if those were tied together, but we got them more integrated, so that's a good thing. So we're retaking the war goal over here, and we got 3,600 men we got to deal with. Another siege over there. It's just really difficult when you only have the one army. We got 25 guys here, that's what I was waiting on. But yeah, when you only have the one army in the region, it's kind of difficult. Because if you have one of the armies doing a siege, then that just allows the enemies, enemies' armies just do whatever they want. But if you stomp around, wiping out all their troops and retaking the provinces, then you're also not advancing the war and taking over new locations. So here in November, I wanted to show you guys the current progress in the war. We're sieging this location in Normandy. We've made a little bit of progress, but luckily no enemy armies are really marching around here taking stuff from us. Only this 90-man army, which isn't large enough to do much of anything. They did take over this location, which I had occupied. They grabbed that back. What's nice is there's nobody over here, so we can do this siege. But down here, there's a ton of armies, far more than we can fight, and Aragon must have just made peace because they are no longer in the conflict. I don't know why you don't get notifications of that when somebody leaves the war. You really ought to be notified. Yeah, you can see they're not in the conflict anymore. So I think that something should pop up and let you know, like, hey, your ally has left the conflict. Now, France barely has any war enthusiasm, so we can likely get a pretty good peace treaty. We can keep wiping out these little armies. I've got these guys marching over here to take out the 2,000. But yeah, they have a pretty large army in the area, and we just have about 10,000 men or so. We did finish up that research that we had set up, so we need to get something else going. Still haven't gotten access to any of the institutions, so we're going to continue with the ones we have available. We're going to go for this one, not because we need that, but because we could use this one. We've already seen that we have gotten to the maximum size for several of our most profitable RGOs, and then I also want to step up food production. We're really focusing on food at the moment. You can see that I've got a few things building, irrigation and a granary here in London. Alright guys, so I think we're going to go ahead and end this war at a 69.81% war score. We've occupied most of Normandy, just this little area over here we don't have control of. We've made sure that they don't have control of any of our territory, and of course we have that war goal, which is granting 7% on the ticking war score. But the reason why we're ending it is because of the situation down here in Aquitaine. We've occupied all of this territory here, and I think I was sending this guy to go take this fortification, in the second army. But basically, we would have to send the Royal Army over here because they have 23,000 troops. So we'd have to combine our two armies, and even then it'd be a difficult fight, or else they're going to take over the capital of Aquitaine. So I think it's a good time to make peace because we don't really need any more war score. I think they'll probably agree to a 100% war score request, or demand I should say, just because their war enthusiasm is so low. So there's really no reason to continue the conflict. We should be able to get whatever we want. And I feel like we should take the war goal because it's going to be cheaper. And that's what we started the conflict over. And I think in this treaty, we're going to focus on subjects. Because, we don't have any control over most of this territory, so we're not getting much out of it. Our total levies from all of this was like 1,800 dudes. So you're not getting much levies. You're not getting much money. So I think it makes more sense to start switching some of their vassals over to us. And the first one we should do is Normandy. And we're going to make them all into fiefdoms. Just to show you guys what the difference between these are. So with these two, the fiefdom or fiefdom, however you want to pronounce it, and the dominion, the subject has the same ruler as the overlord. The strength impact is not as high with this one. Oops, didn't mean to close that. It's going to cost us 2.10 diplomatic capacity. These are the bonuses they get. This is what we're getting. We're going to look at the Dominion. This here can cause some issue for your subjects because they have to have the same court language and the same primary culture, or at least one that's a kindred culture, so that can cause some issues. Two of the nice things about the Dominion is you get this prestige bonus, and also it's not going to cost us as much when it comes to diplomatic capacity. The bonus that the subject gets is different too. It's legislative efficiency, where I think the other ones give cabinet efficiency. So the vassal, in this case, our ruler would not be their leader. The subject strength impact is the same as the fiefdom. I suppose this one also grants you monthly prestige. The diplomatic capacity is going to be the same as with the fiefdom, and the bonus they get is the cabinet efficiency. But we're going to go with this one here. So we can get Normandy. We still got plenty of points. And I feel like we got to get these two subjects here. I think that makes sense just to make it look good. So we're going to go through here and find both of those. Yeah, they're right here. And we'll see how many points we have left. We have 84 points. Okay, well, we could really use the money. And I'd prefer to have the war reparations over just asking for money. I think you get more out of that in the long run. I suppose by asking for the war reparations, we're not able to do this in order to force them to break their treaty with Scotland. But, you know, I don't really care about that all that much. I think it's better to get the war reparations and potentially more land because we have more points. So they will agree to this. And we have a 6% more war score. So I think we should make this look a little bit nicer because it looks kind of strange. Like maybe take that. Take the territory up around here. This is a separate country here that is not under France. I would take this little patch of territory here, but this one with the fort is too expensive. I suppose we might be able to get... Nope, we can't get that one. And then we'll take what gold we can to get to the 100 war score cost. Alright guys, so this is a big victory for us. And look at that. We'll have to see where our diplomatic capacity stands. We're still really good. So no issues there. But yeah, we are much more powerful after that conflict. Wish we had been able to get more out of it, of course. And we need to get rid of, disband our levies. So it's going to detach them, disband them, and then bring our armies back home. Same thing with the Royal Army here. Attach the levies, bring these guys over here, and disband those levies. We don't need to pay for our forts or our army any longer. You know, we're going to turn down our diplomatic spending all the way too, just to save even more money. Well, it looks like we're going to have to invest further in diplomatic spending because our subjects are currently disloyal. So maybe do something like that until we're able to get their opinion increased. So we'll work on that now. So start improving opinion with Normandy first. That'll help make them a little bit more loyal to us. And then we got some money to spend. So let's go and invest it in some buildings. Maybe get the Papermakers Guild. We'll do it in London. Seems that would be the most profitable as usual. So we'll get that done in London, and then we'll continue to build the wineries in Yarmouth, even if those aren't the most profitable, because again, that's their specialization. I suppose now we'll focus on some additional RGOs. So we already got those building. Our son Edmund has come of age. He's thus far, I think, the best of our sons. You can also arrange a marriage for him. And I'm fine with doing a marriage with Brabant, even if they are a crappy ally. Yeah, he'll marry his cousin in Brabant. But yeah, so far he's the best of our sons. So we could replace, it costs money of course, but we could replace the son that we have currently working. I think we have, Lionel York. We just finished with the integration, alright, excellent. And the coalition continues to grow. It's a massive coalition, guys. Everybody's quite unhappy with us. It's like 30 something countries, though a lot of those are vassals of France. So I need to assign another cabinet action, but you know what? Let's let's replace him because he's really not the best of our sons. I think we're probably going to place our youngest on his position. Even if it is going to cost us a bit of money, he's clearly the best choice. And he's more flexible overall. Particularly having that higher military ability would be helpful because we need him to do the rebel crackdown. See that our rebels have continued to become a problem. And we'll work on the Frankian ones, since that's the one that's climbing up the fastest, the biggest issue for us. Another thing we can do is we have an action here for the Western Schism where we can show unity of faith. So every location in the designated province will get this nice modifier here, reducing unrest, increasing conversion speed, and we're going to move closer towards spiritualists. And I think we should do it here in Paris, since I'm assuming that a lot of these rebels are coming from there. So I think that'll help. We got the next event in the King's Speech. The French language had come to replace Old English at court following the Norman invasion in 1066. It remained the dominant language in official matters for centuries, but recently there have been calls for the king to instead use the language widely spoken amongst the general population. King Edward has suggested that it would be a suitable time to introduce it during the next opening of Parliament. So the historical option would say a splendid initiative, and English will become our new court language, or we can say no, that's a terrible idea, and we'll lose legitimacy. You know what, we're going to go ahead and go with this, guys. Again, there are benefits for keeping it, which if you're curious where you see that, it's right here in the laws. You see our court language, and you can also see the language power of that court language, and then the effects of it. So for the court language, having one with a higher power will increase the estate satisfaction for the nobility. But it also helps when you have the same language that the commoners speak, which, you know, the commoners in our country speak English. So we're going to go ahead and change over to English. Obviously, you see that is a huge drop in language power at 1.02%, but that'll climb up because it wasn't considering the fact that the whole Kingdom of England was using it. So it's 13.66%, which is still lower than French was, as you'd probably expect. So besides saving the legitimacy because we didn't select that one option in the event, why bother to change if it's going to result in our nobles being less happy? Well, you can see down here, using English as our court language has the following impact. So we'll get the common language is the court language, so our peasants are going to be happier and we'll get increased cultural influence. And court language is the capital's market language, which is going to increase our trade capacity, which as we move to the month, that's the reason why we have extra trade capacity now. So there are reasons to have your court language be the same as the common language, and in particular the same as the market language here. So yeah, by doing that, we're going to get a little bit more money here. So let's go ahead and I guess we'll trade for the gold, even though I know that's not going to last past the month. We're currently earning 62.73. So let's go ahead and invest that. First, we will continue building in London, you know, getting the Tailors Guild. And I guess we'll also get the Papermakers Guild here. Also get the winery, again, over here in Yarmouth, even if it's not the most profitable location. And then if we got any money left, looks like we got a little bit. We'll get 1 or 2 RGOs. I think this one's almost done, so we'll build another one there. And then this is the fiber crops, which I think we have a need for fiber crops. So that should help please our commoners. We finally have the ability to embrace one of the 3 institutions of this age, professional armies. That's going to cost us 222.73 ducats, and we'll also lose some stability. And the cost of that, you know, how much stability you lose and how much it costs, is based off of how spread throughout your territory it is. So right now it's 73.53% spread. You could always wait longer, such as if you weren't ready to start researching those just yet. You could wait a bit longer to get this even cheaper, but honestly, this is not too bad of a cost at all. So we're going to go ahead and get that embraced. And it looked like the cost was a little bit cheaper. So I think we saved a little bit of money and didn't lose quite as much stability. And so that's going to unlock this new branch here, professional armies. And as you'd expect, it's very much focused on your military, improving your troops. You know, we can get down here to longbowmen, get cannons, handgunners, all kinds of good stuff. You can start drilling your army. So lots of new stuff is going to unlock. with this part of the tech tree. So I think we're still researching the mills. We're 78.4% of the way done. I think we're going to complete the intensive agriculture. The extra food production would be really helpful, but we won't get any of this other stuff just yet, so that we can focus on the military bonuses that would be granted in professional armies. So this is going to reduce our army maintenance, so we'll get that first. And then there's just a lot of good stuff here. I think we're going to start with this branch just so we can start to drill our army and get the armories. So armories are incredibly important because this is the first way that you can reliably get manpower so that we can have more regular army units. And then we'll get the men-at-arms and the longbowmen. And then maybe after that, the plated knights. There's also the recruitment law. Maybe we should get this before we get some of these other ones. Yeah. We're going to wait to get these two. We need the armory, so we're going to get that. But let's get the recruitment law, and then we'll do... I wish it was easier to move these around, so you didn't have to like straight up cancel them. I suppose that's all we'll get for now. But yeah, we'll probably do military tactics after all this. Let me just see here. Yeah, I think military tactics would be what we wanted next. And then we'll come back in here once we get all that done. Obviously, that's a lot of stuff that we've got to research. That's going to take us quite some time. So we got a nice treasury built up right now. So let's go and spend it, get some buildings constructed. And it looks like the Tools Guild is going to be profitable. So we'll get a couple of those constructed. Continue working on these Tailor guilds as well. And then the Spinners Guild, we'll put that here. And the Carpenters Guild. Guess we already have one here, so we'll build that as well. Alright, so next we'll do some RGOs. We actually just got that tech, which increased the maximum RGOs allowed. So now we can go ahead and continue investing in these ones that were getting us the most money. And looks like that's all we can get. So we're here in January 1364. And unfortunately, we do have to end today's episode here, just working on the economy and focusing on getting those new military techs done. The next war with France wouldn't be allowed until 1369. If we attack Scotland, that's also a war with France. Even though there's a truce, I'm pretty sure they would still help them in that conflict. So if we went to war with Scotland, it's the same thing as fighting France. Could instead try and expand here in Ireland. We don't have any Casus Belli there, but what we could do is get a Casus Belli from the Parliament, because the Parliament's going to be called in about a year or so. So that'd be one way to get a CB. We could also instead try and fabricate one, in which case we'd want to start building up a spy network there. I'm thinking up here in the north makes the most sense. They've got the most territory to take. So yeah, I guess you'd attack them. So those are the two options. I guess we'll start building a spy network here. It does mean that we're going to have to invest further in our diplomatic spending, so that we're still actually earning some diplomats. Yeah, we're earning a lot of money right now, doing pretty good for this point in the game anyways. I'll just show you guys our markets, because we haven't really looked at that in a while. So here's the London markets, and we have that surplus of wool and fish and wheat. While we're still lacking the sturdy grains, rice, and books, but none of these are really all that bad. We're meeting most of our demands pretty good. The market value kind of low at 542. Definitely would like to see that a bit higher. But the Paris market, which is also ours now, has a market value of 1,170. A huge surplus in wheat and wine, livestock. Little shortage of dyes, fur, and rice. But we have the most trade advantage here with 26.88, earning a good profit. Haven't been managing that directly. You might want to take a peek at it, see how things are going there. And then of course we have the most trade advantage here as well. But look at that profit. The profit from the Paris market is almost as high as what we're currently earning in London. So seizing control of this has been incredibly profitable for us. Yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. If you did, make sure you have a like on it, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Do hope to see you on the next one, and thanks for watching.